Alright, the first thing that you need to do to make your textured landscape is to get a pencil and write your name and class code. Class code and a circle around the class code. Then what you're going to do is flip it over. You're going to pull it down like a big wave down to the bottom. Hold the edges together. Walk your fingers up like spider fingers and crease the fold. Now you're folding it long ways, okay? So that the fold is the longest. Do not fold it tall ways. Fold it the long ways, okay? So it's a nice long fold. This will be the horizon line, the line where the ground and the sky meet. It means everything under this line needs to be the ground and everything above this line needs to be the sky. And you're going to draw a landscape. Now, when you draw your landscape, you can draw some hills. You can draw a river. You could draw a pond. You can draw a tree. You can draw some clouds. You can even draw a sun if you want to. There's lots of things you can draw when you draw a landscape. Now, what we're going to do then, oh, you could even draw some mountains if you wanted to. I'm going to draw some mountains. Now, some of my mountains are land and they are going above the horizon line, but that's okay. Then, what you're going to do is instead of just coloring it in, we're going to color it in with texture plates. Let me show you the texture plates. We have plastic texture plates like this. We have texture sheets where they're just pieces of paper that have texture on them. And we have big texture boards, and most of the boards have two sides, two different textures on them. What you're going to do is you're going to take your paper and you're going to put your texture plate under your paper and you're going to color in that area so that it is texture. Now make sure that when you find your crayon, either find one that's already been peeled, and make sure that this is actually blue. Test the color on the back. Yep, that's blue. And then you're going to peel it so you've just got the side. Hold your paper down really well. And color just inside there. If you need to make your crayon smaller, you can just break it in half. Make sure you hold your paper down, otherwise it will slip on you and you won't be coloring in your texture. Just like that. And then get a different texture for a different area. I'm going to get this texture for my tree bark. And for my leaves. And I'm going to get a big texture plate for my ground, because it covers a lot of my space. So I get one of these big ones here. And I'm still going to have to shift it over because see, the texture plate and the paper aren't quite big enough. I'm just going to line it up, hold it down really good. Push down really hard when I'm doing my texture plate. When I'm rubbing for my texture, I push down really hard with this. I'm going to shift it over. use this texture for my lake. Now, for my mountains, I think I'm going to do my crown a little bit differently. I'm going to get the pencil sharpener, which is attached to the box. Use the big hole. I'm just going to sharpen that crayon up, and I'm going to make sure all of those scraps get thrown in the trash. Now I've got a nice sharp crayon. Put all of these scraps in the trash. We get a texture plate. I'm going to use the side of this to do the rubbing. That way I can get inside those points. Shift my texture plate over because I can feel under the paper where it begins and ends. See, I'm not using the point of this crayon, I'm just using the side. Right. I get another texture plate for my sky. If you want to test to see what the texture is going to look like on a piece of free draw paper, you can. Now, the clouds stay white, so we're just going to leave those white. Still holding down. And the last one for the sun. There we go. And there's your textured town landscape.